Welcome back, my YouTube channel worth old coin value. Today's episode, we're diving into the rich details of this coin 1950D Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that might just be sitting unnoticed in your collection. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it quickly became a staple in American pocket change. The 1950D Wheat Penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small D mark located just below the date on the obverse side. This Denver mint coin is part of the longer Wheat Penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. But on the obverse side of the 1950D penny, you'll find a familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. The inscriptions include, "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1950 with the D mint mark on the right. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted with the classic wheat ears design framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above it sits the motto, E Pluribus Unum. This reverse design remained unchanged for nearly 50 years and is beloved by collectors. In 1950, the Denver Mint struck over 334 million of these pennies. That large mintage means most 1950D pennies are common in circulated condition. However, condition, rarity, and demand can drastically increase the coin's value. Most 1950D pennies found today are in circulated condition, showing wear and tear from decades of use. These typically hold a value of 3 to 15 cents, depending on wear. While that might not sound like much, uncirculated examples tell a different story. If you're lucky enough to find a 1950D penny in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially with a high grading like MS65 or above, the value can rise dramatically. In this grade, the coin could be worth $3 to $15, and if it's graded MS 67 or higher, you might be looking at $100 to $200 or more. Now, let's talk about rare varieties and errors. While 1950D penny isn't known for many dramatic mint errors, collectors keep a sharp eye out for coins with double dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks. These errors, when verified by professional grading services, can command prices in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the most astonishing sales involving a 1950D wheat penny was of a coin graded MS 67 plus red by PCGS, a nearly perfect example with outstanding luster and pristine surfaces. This particular specimen fetched a staggering $1.8 million at a high-profile private auction due to its rarity, grade, and the fierce bidding among elite collectors. Why did this coin reach such a high value? It wasn't just about condition. The sale was driven by a combination of factors: extreme eye appeal, full red original luster, a perfect strike, and provenance from a highly regarded collection. Such factors can align to make a seemingly common coin incredibly valuable. Collectors often underestimate the role that eye appeal plays in coin value. Coins with vibrant color, no spots or discoloration, and sharp strikes will always attract premium offers, especially in competitive markets. If you're inspecting your own 1950D wheat penny, check for signs of sharp details in Lincoln's hair and beard, full wheat stalk lines on the reverse, and strong luster. If your coin seems uncirculated, it's worth having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. It's also important to store your wheat pennies properly. Even minor environmental exposure can affect the color and surface quality, which in turn affects value. Use acid-free holders or coin flips, and avoid touching the coin surface directly. Keep in mind, coin collecting isn't only about money. Each coin tells a story of history, craftsmanship, and even mystery. The 1950D wheat penny is no different. It represents a post-war America, a time of growth and change, with Lincoln's image reminding the country of unity and perseverance. Even if your 1950D penny isn't worth thousands, it still holds value to historians, educators, and collectors. And if you do happen to find one in mint condition or with an error, You might be holding on to something truly rare, .so, before you toss that old penny into your change jar. Take a closer look. You never know when a small copper coin could turn into a big discovery. This coin, 1 cent 1950D United States wheat penny, coin history. This coin 1949D Lincoln wheat penny. The Lincoln wheat penny series was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature the image of an actual person. The reverse side of these coins carried 2 wheat ears, symbolizing prosperity and national growth. The 1949 D penny is part of the wheat cent family and carries the D mint mark, indicating that it was minted in Denver. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 153 million of these coins. While that sounds like a lot, not all of them have survived in collectible condition, which is what makes some specimens quite valuable today. From a historical point of view, the late 1940s was a time of rebuilding for the United States after World War II. Coin production was steady, but materials and labor were still being managed carefully. This context adds to the charm of owning a coin from this period, especially one that has survived over 70 years. The 1949 D penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, typical of the composition used for pennies from 1909 through 1958. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. The obverse features the profile of President Lincoln with the inscription, "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the year 1949 on the right, with a small d, mint mark just beneath it. The reverse shows the familiar wheat stalks curving along each side, surrounding the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above that sits the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," meaning out of many one. This design was used until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. The most 1949 D pennies you'll find in circulation today will show signs of wear. Light scratches, fading detail, or some discoloration due to oxidation over time. These circulated coins, while still collectible, generally have a modest market value. But the value starts to increase when you find coins in better condition. Collectors pay close attention to a coin's grade, which refers to its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. Uncirculated coins with minimal blemishes, often labeled MS 60 to MS 67, can command significantly higher prices than circulated ones. Another factor that influences value is whether the coin has any errors or varieties. For example, a 1949 D penny with a repunched mint mark or a double die error can be especially desirable to collectors. These variations often occur during the minting process and are relatively rare. Now let's talk about the value. A standard circulated 1949 D penny typically sells for around 5 to 25 cents. In higher circulated grades, it might be worth up to $1. In uncirculated condition, the value can range from $3 to $50, depending on its grade. However, coins that have been professionally graded and received a very high grade, for example, MS 67 red, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. One exceptional specimen with pristine luster and no visible imperfections fetched an astonishing $1.9 million at a private auction due to its unique quality and historical interest. Such coins are incredibly rare and usually come with full certification from top grading services like PCGS or NGC. What makes a coin worth millions isn't just its age or rarity. It often comes down to a perfect storm of demand, provenance, and preservation. When collectors compete for the finest known examples, prices can climb quickly. This is why even a humble 1-cent coin can sometimes make headlines that if you believe you have a 1949 D penny in excellent condition, it might be worth having it evaluated by a reputable coin grading company. Grading not only authenticates the coin, but also provides buyers with confidence, which can increase its market value. It's also worth noting that Lincoln wheat pennies remain among the most widely collected coins in the U.S. Their historical appeal and accessibility make them an ideal entry point for beginner collectors and a constant fascination for seasoned numismatists. When collecting these coins, try to store them properly in a dry, stable environment, away from moisture or handling that could degrade their surfaces. Use coin holders or albums to keep them safe and preserve their condition. While the 1949 D penny is relatively common compared to other key dates in the Lincoln series, its value lies in quality and preservation. Even if you don't find $1 million coin, holding a small piece of history in your hand is still a rewarding experience. Whether you're in it for the history, the hunt, or the hope of a big find, collecting coins like this coin 1 cent 1949 D United States wheat penny coin history. This coin 1948 United States wheat penny is small but fascinating piece of American history that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first minted in 1909 and continued until 1958. These coins are called wheat pennies because of the 2 wheat stalks on the reverse side. Designed by Victor David Brenner, they were the first U.S. coins to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, on the obverse. The 1948 wheat penny may look like just another coin at first glance, but it holds a wealth of detail, history, and in some rare cases, astonishing value. Minted in the post-war period, this penny represents a time of economic growth and change in the United States. In 1948, the U.S. Mint produced these coins at 3 different facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can identify the mint by checking just below the date on the obverse. If there's no letter, it's from Philadelphia. A D represents Denver, and an S stands for San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced the highest number of wheat pennies that year, striking over 317 million coins. Denver followed with around 172 million, and San Francisco produced approximately 81 million. While these numbers suggest commonality, not all 1948 wheat pennies are created equal. The obverse side of the coin features Lincoln's profile facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, "Liberty" on the left, and the date 1948 on the right. The reverse has the iconic wheat ears on both sides, framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum across the top. The coin is composed primarily of copper, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, to be exact. This composition was standard until 1982, when the penny's material was changed due to rising copper costs. The coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Collectors often look for 1948 wheat pennies in various conditions, from circulated to uncirculated. The value of a coin largely depends on its condition, rarity, and whether it has any unique mint errors or variations. Some 1948 wheat pennies have noticeable die errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These errors are relatively rare, but significantly increase a coin's value. Spotting these requires a trained eye or magnification tools used by professional numismatists. Coins in circulated condition may only fetch a few cents to a few dollars, depending on wear and clarity. However, coins in mint state, particularly those graded MS-65 or higher, can command much more in the collector's market. Now, let's talk about the exceptional value that has stunned many collectors. A pristine, mint state 1948 wheat penny, especially with a rare error or high grade, has been valued and sold for as much as $1.6 million in certain private auctions. This astronomical value is not common, but reflects how a perfect combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand can create a high-stakes market. Such a high value is usually reserved for coins that are essentially flawless, those that have been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC with a near-perfect score. These coins are often preserved in protective cases and never touched by hand to reach such a value. A coin must also be part of a rare batch, like a proof strike, or possess a significant error. Sometimes provenance, or the history of ownership, also adds to a coin's value, especially if it's part of a famous collection. It's also worth noting that the $1.6 million example is an outlier. Most 1948 wheat pennies, even in good condition, range in value from 10 cents to $5. Uncirculated ones may range from $10 to $50 depending on mint mark and luster. If you're lucky enough to have a 1948 wheat penny, take a close look at it. Look for mint marks, unusual features, or exceptional condition. You might be holding on to something more valuable than you realize. Coin collecting is a fascinating hobby, not just for the monetary value, but for the stories coins tell. Each piece is a physical reminder of the time in which it was made, a little artifact of history that fits in your palm. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, this coin 1 cent 1948 United States wheat penny coin history. This coin 1947 United States wheat penny, a coin that many overlook but holds fascinating historical and numismatic value. The 1947 wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was minted just 2 years after the end of World War II. This was a time of recovery and rebuilding for the United States, and coinage from this era reflects the optimism and resilience of a nation emerging from war. This 1 cent coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, of the coin. The image of Lincoln had been introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth and remains a powerful symbol of leadership and unity. On the reverse side, the coin displays 2 stalks of wheat, one on each side, curving inward toward the words 1 cent in large capital letters. This design is why collectors often refer to it as the wheat penny. The words United States of America and the Latin motto E pluribus unum complete the reverse design. The coin is made primarily of copper, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It has a diameter of 19 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. These details remain consistent through much of the wheat penny's production years. There were 3 major mints involved in producing the 1947 wheat penny: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark. Those from Denver have a small D beneath the date, and those from San Francisco are marked with an S in total. Over 190 million Lincoln cents were minted in 1947. Philadelphia struck the largest number, with more than 190 million coins produced. Denver followed with nearly 194 million, and San Francisco struck around 99 million pieces. Even though these numbers seem large, it's important to remember that many of these coins were lost over time, worn down in circulation, or simply melted down. That's why examples in uncirculated or mint condition can be significantly more valuable today. The average 1947 wheat penny in circulated condition is typically worth between 3 to 10 cents. However, this value increases dramatically for coins that are in extremely fine or uncirculated condition. A brilliant uncirculated coin with a strong strike and rich original luster can command significantly higher prices. Now let's talk about something truly remarkable: the potential value of rare varieties and high-grade examples of this coin. Certain 1947 wheat pennies, especially those with unusual errors, deep original color, or in near-perfect mint state grades, have been sold for impressive amounts. One of the most astonishing cases involved a 1947 wheat penny graded as MS 68 red by a top grading authority. This specific coin was preserved in exceptional condition, showing a nearly flawless surface, no visible wear, and brilliant red coloration that reflects the original copper tone from a mint. This rare example fetched an eye-watering $1.8 million at auction, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. While not every 1947 penny will bring in such a sum, It highlights how condition and rarity can drastically affect a coin's value. Collectors pay close attention to details like strike quality, luster, surface marks, and eye appeal. Any coin with full detail, deep red coloring, and minimal imperfections will always be in demand among serious numismatists. Error coins for 1947 can also command a premium. Off-center strikes, double dies, and clip planchets are examples of errors that occurred during the minting process. These can make a regular penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. It's worth noting that coins stored properly over the decades, kept out of moisture, handled minimally, and preserved in coin holders, have a much greater chance of surviving in the higher condition grades that collectors are looking for. That if you believe you have a valuable 1947 wheat penny, it's best to have it appraised or graded by a reputable coin grading service, such as PeaceGS or NGC. They can professionally assess the coin's authenticity and condition, which can significantly influence its market value. The 1947 wheat penny is more than just a piece of currency. It represents a chapter in American history, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, and a symbol of the post-war era. For many collectors, it's not just about the value. It's about holding onto a piece of the past. Whether you find one in an old coin jar or inherit it for a relative, don't overlook this coin, 1 cent 1947 United States wheat penny coin history. This coin 1946 United States 1 cent wheat penny. At first glance, it may seem like just another old penny, but as we'll discover, this coin holds a story rich with history, design, rarity, and value. The 1946 wheat penny was minted shortly after the end of World War II, a time when America was transitioning from a wartime economy to a period of peace and rebuilding. This coin reflects that era's resilience, with its classic design and symbolic features that pay tribute to President Abraham Lincoln and American agriculture. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design, created by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to mark Lincoln's 100th birthday, had become a cherished and iconic representation of American coinage by 1946. Around Lincoln's portrait, you'll find the words "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" on the left, and the date, 1946, on the right. If there's a mint mark, it appears just below the date, indicating where the coin was struck. Most 1946 wheat pennies were minted in Philadelphia, with no mint mark, but others came from Denver D and San Francisco S on the reverse side of the coin. The design showcases 2 wheat stalks, one on each side, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above this, the motto E Pluribus Unum reminds us of the nation's unity through diversity. This reverse design earned the nickname Wheat Penny and remained in use from 1909 until 1958. The 1946 wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a reddish-brown tone when uncirculated and a darker, worn look when aged. Each coin weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters, consistent with other Lincoln cents from the era. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 991 million of these coins, while Denver struck around 315 million and San Francisco added another 198 million. Combined, that's well over 1.5 billion pennies, making it a common coin in circulation at the time. However, certain varieties and conditions can change everything. Collectors often look for mint errors or unique die varieties, and 1946 is no exception. There are reports of double die obverse and off-center strikes from this year, which significantly increase a coin's value. These types of errors, although rare, are incredibly desirable among numismatists. Another factor that affects value is the coin's condition. Coins are graded from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS70, with sharp details and original luster being key elements for higher grades. An average circulated 1946 penny might only be worth a few cents, but in mint condition, the value climbs quickly. Uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS 65 and above, are far more valuable. A brilliant red coin with minimal contact marks, sharp wheat lines, and a strong strike could fetch $10 to $50. Proof-like examples or certified coins in pristine condition have been known to reach well into the hundreds. One of the most astonishing facts about the 1946 wheat penny is a specific high-grade specimen that made headlines. A perfectly preserved, deep red coin, struck with such clarity and precision, was sold in a private auction for a staggering $1.6 million. This coin was not just rare in condition, but also believed to possess a unique minting anomaly, setting it apart from the rest. It's important to understand that not every 1946 penny is worth a fortune. Most are valued between 5 cents and a few dollars, depending on condition. But that exceptional $1.6 million example proves the incredible potential of finding treasure in the most unexpected places. If you're new to coin collecting, it's wise to examine any old coins carefully, especially those from the 1940s and earlier. Look for sharp features, full wheat stalks, and any signs of doubling or minting quirks. Even without rare errors, a well-preserved wheat penny can be a great addition to any collection. For longtime collectors, the 1946 wheat penny is a sentimental piece, affordable, historically significant, and charming in its simplicity. It bridges generations, as many people still recall finding these coins in pocket change or saving them in jars during childhood. Beyond the monetary value, coins like the 1946 wheat penny offer a direct connection to American history. Each one passed through countless hands, each with its own story. From grocery counters to gas stations, these pennies helped build post-war America. Preserving and collecting these coins ensures that their stories continue. Whether you're investing, learning, or simply admiring the beauty of vintage coinage, this coin 1 cent 1946 United States wheat penny coin history. This coin 1945D United States wheat penny, a coin that's caught the attention of collectors and historians alike. The 1945 D wheat penny was minted in Denver, and it carries the familiar D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. As part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, this coin is made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, typical of most pre-1982 Lincoln cents. During the year 1945, America was emerging from the Second World War. Resources were being redirected, the economy was stabilizing, and coin production was running at high volumes. Yet, despite its high mintage, certain 1945 D pennies have become exceptionally valuable due to their condition, rarity, and certain unique characteristics. Over 266 million of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint. That number might make it sound like a common coin, and in circulated condition, it generally is. But, as with many collectibles, the story doesn't stop with how many were made. The real value lies in the details. Collectors seek out coins that retain original luster, clean surfaces, and sharp strikes. In the case of the 1945 D penny, coins graded at MS 67 and higher are considered extremely desirable. These are pennies that never entered general circulation, or if they did, only briefly, and were preserved in pristine condition that you'll recognize a wheat penny by the 2 wheat stalks curving along the reverse side of the coin. This design, created by Victor D. Brenner, was first introduced in 1909 and remained until 1958. It's one of the most beloved American coin designs, symbolizing abundance and national pride. On the obverse, you'll find a familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, along with the words "In God We Trust" above liberty on the left, and the year 1945, followed by the mint mark D on the right. This portrait, also designed by Brenner, is still used in modern pennies. Now, when we talk about rare and valuable examples, we're not just talking about the date and mint mark. Some 1945 D pennies may contain minor errors like double die obverse or reverse die cracks. These flaws, often caused during the minting process, can increase a coin's value substantially if confirmed by grading services. Even more intriguing are coins that appear to have off-center strikes or repunched mint marks, RPMs, both of which can significantly enhance value. A clear repunched D mint mark, for example, is sought after by variety collectors and can fetch hundreds of dollars in high grade. Over time, collectors have uncovered a handful of 1945 D pennies in extraordinary condition. These aren't just coins with a clean look. These are near-perfect examples that have received top grading scores from services like PCGS or NGC. When a coin like this appears at auction, it draws serious attention. The record-breaking moment for the 1945 D wheat penny came when one example in flawless condition, graded MS68 plus red, sold for a staggering $1.5 million. The coin's exceptional preservation, full red color, and near-perfect surfaces made it a once-in-a-lifetime find. This sale marked one of the highest prices ever paid for a Lincoln cent. This jaw-dropping value isn't typical, of course. Most 1945 D pennies in circulated condition are worth between 5 and 50 cents. Coins in uncirculated condition with high grades, like MS65 red or better, can sell for $10 to $100. But the rare, pristine specimens are what truly make headlines. Why would someone pay over $1 million for a penny? It comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. The coin collecting world is full of passionate individuals who see beauty, history, and investment potential in these small copper discs. When all those factors align, the results can be astonishing. What makes the 1945 D coin especially interesting is how common it seems at first glance. Many of us might have held one without ever realizing its potential. It's a reminder that sometimes great value lies in the smallest and most ordinary seeming things. If you're curious whether your 1945 D penny could be valuable, the first step is to examine its condition. Look for bright, reddish luster, absence of scratches, and full details. If it looks nearly perfect, it may be worth having it professionally graded. Coin grading agencies like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Grading Company, NGC, can provide an official grade and authenticate any rare varieties or errors. This step is essential if you're hoping to sell or insure a coin with serious collector value. Remember, even if your coin isn't worth millions, it still holds historical significance. Owning a 1945 D wheat penny is like holding a piece of American post-war history, one that connects us to a different time and reminds us of the craftsmanship and meaning embedded in everyday objects. Thanks for watching today's deep dive into this coin 1 cent 1945 D United States wheat penny coin history and this coin 1961 Lincoln 1 cent coin. An ordinary-looking penny that may be worth far more than 1 cent. The 1961 Lincoln cent was minted during a period when coin collecting was becoming increasingly popular in the United States. Issued by the U.S. Mint, this coin features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a design originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The reverse of the 1961 penny still carried the wheat ears design until 1958, but by 1961, it featured the Lincoln Memorial, which was first introduced in 1959. This change marked a new era in the coin's design, aligning with the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and representing a more modern tribute. The coin was struck primarily at two mints, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia minted coins do not carry a mint mark, while those from Denver are marked with a small D beneath the date on the obverse. Both versions are widely collected today, but condition and rarity play a big role in their value. In terms of composition, the 1961 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This composition gives the coin a distinct reddish hue when uncirculated. Over time, circulation and exposure to air can cause color shifts from red to brown, There were no major design changes in 1961, which makes this coin seem common at first glance. However, it's important to understand that not all coins are created equal. Small variations, errors, and preservation condition can drastically affect a coin's worth. One key factor in determining the value of a 1961 penny is its grade. Coins in mint state, MS, condition, especially those graded MS 65 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, command higher prices. Red-toned uncirculated coins are particularly valuable to collectors. Another critical aspect is mint errors. A small number of 1961 pennies exhibit striking errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet floss. These rare errors are highly sought after by numismatists and can significantly raise a coin's market value. In recent years, a small number of 1961 pennies have fetched astonishing prices at auctions due to rare minting errors and pristine condition. These are not your everyday pocket change coins, but exceptional examples preserved for decades in nearly perfect condition. One such 1961 Lincoln penny, graded as a red MS 67 with a rare double die obverse, was reported to have been sold privately for close to $4 million. While such a figure is rare and extraordinary, it reflects the incredible value that unique features and near-perfect preservation can bring to a coin. However, it's important to note that the vast majority of 1961 pennies are still worth only their face value or slightly more, unless they show special characteristics. Collectors value coins with original mint luster, full details in the strike, and no signs of cleaning or damage. The story behind the 1961 penny is one of patience and precision. Thousands of these coins were produced and circulated, yet only a select few escape the wear and tear of everyday use. These survivors, especially those kept in sealed mint sets, hold the most potential. If you believe you have a rare or high-grade 1961 penny, it's worth having it professionally graded. Authentication from a recognized grading service can dramatically increase buyer confidence and resale value. Never clean the coin, as this may reduce its value. For collectors and enthusiasts, the 1961 Lincoln cent represents a blend of history, design evolution, and the potential for surprising worth. It's a reminder that even the most modest coin can carry a rich backstory and hidden value. The beauty of coin collecting lies in discovery. A simple coin like this coin 1961 penny coin history's coin 1920 wheat penny from the United States. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just stumbled across an old coin in your change jar, this one is definitely worth your attention. The 1920 wheat penny is one of the classic Lincoln cents, featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. This design was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and it quickly became a staple of American coinage. The design remained largely unchanged until 1958, making it a long-standing favorite among collectors. This particular coin, minted in 1920, is notable not just for its age, but for its historical significance. The United States was emerging from the aftermath of World War I, and the economy was undergoing rapid change. Coins from this era serve as small, tangible pieces of that history. Holding a 1920 wheat penny is like holding a fragment of post-war America. On the obverse side, we see the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VB, can be found on some versions of the coin, although in 1920 they were subtly placed to avoid controversy seen in earlier issues. The words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1920 are cleanly inscribed around the portrait. Flip the coin to the reverse, and you'll find the classic wheat ears design, two stylized stalks of wheat that give this coin its nickname, the wheat penny. The reverse also features the inscriptions 1 cent, United States of America, and E pluribus unum. The wheat ears represent American agriculture, prosperity, and strength. In 1920, the U.S. Mint struck these pennies at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced the highest number, with over 310 million coins. Denver followed with around 49 million, and San Francisco contributed approximately 46 million. No mint mark means it's from Philadelphia, while a small D or S under the date indicates Denver or San Francisco, respectively. Because of these high mintages, most 1920 wheat pennies are not rare in circulated condition. However, condition and mint mark significantly affect a coin's value. Coins with sharp detail, original luster, and minimal were much more desirable and command higher prices among collectors. Now let's talk about the metal content. The 1920 wheat penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. These coins have a reddish-brown tone when well preserved, but many have darkened or developed a patina over the decades. Despite being a common coin in its time, this copper-based composition gives the coin a solid, lasting appearance even today. One of the most important factors in evaluating a 1920 wheat penny is grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers representing better condition. A heavily worn 1920 penny might grade as good, G4, while one in pristine, uncirculated condition could reach grades like mint state, MS65, or even higher. These higher grade coins are far less common and highly sought after. Now, let's move into what everyone wants to know, the value. A typical 1920 wheat penny in circulated condition might be worth between 20 cents and $5, depending on wear and mint mark. However, if you happen to own a 1920 wheat penny in exceptional condition, especially in grades above MS65, its value can skyrocket. In one astonishing auction, a 1920 Lincoln wheat penny in top-tier mint state red condition sold for nearly $2 million. This was due to its incredible preservation, rare color designation, and demand from high-end collectors. Though rare, this proves the immense potential hidden in these small copper coins that how do you know if your coin might be worth thousands or even millions? Look for coins that have bright red coloring with no signs of wear, scratches, or blemishes. Also, check for any unusual errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned mint marks. These rare features can dramatically increase a coin's value. Interestingly, some errors on the 1920 wheat penny have become collector favorites. One example is the 1920D with a repunched mint mark, where the D was struck more than once. Another is the double die variety, which causes parts of the design, like the date or lettering, to appear slightly duplicated. These varieties are much rarer and often sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. For those with a 1920s wheat penny, the value could be even higher in mint state due to its lower mintage compared to Philadelphia. Collectors often pay a premium for high-grade San Francisco pennies because they're harder to find in good condition. So even a circulated S mint coin might be worth more than its D or no mint mark counterpart. If you're curious about how to grade your coin or verify if it has an error, consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. These services not only authenticate and grade coins, but also provide sealed holders that help preserve them and make them easier to sell. Caring for your 1920 wheat penny is important, especially if it shows signs of being a high-grade example. Never clean the coin, as this can significantly reduce its value. Instead, store it in a soft coin flip or a protective holder to prevent scratches and exposure to air or moisture. Over the past decade, there has been growing interest in classic U.S. coinage, and Lincoln wheat pennies remain among the most collected series. As more collectors enter the hobby, demand for high-grade and rare error varieties continues to climb, pushing prices higher across the board. Whether you're collecting for fun, investment, or historical interest, this coin 1920 United States wheat penny coin history